me start, please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. On our topic of discussion is promoting mental health in schools. And to express your viewpoints on the same, we have with us Mrs. Ranjit Bhatia, Principal of Shri Guru Harkishan Public School, Taruntara. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Very good afternoon to all of you. My pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. So we would like to directly start off with the session and to have our first question is what is mental health and why mental health is important for to be promoted in schools?
When we talk about mental health, I believe there is a stigma attached to it in the society. We may accept my stomach is paining, there's a pain in my leg or any part of the body. People find it very comfortable talking about it. But the moment somebody says mentally unhealthiness or mental illness, there's a stigma. People start raising their eyebrows on it. Okay, there is something wrong with the mind. So we must first of all look at as any other ailment in the body. So is brain is also a part of the body. It's a very important organ. So when there is brain that needs help, we should not feel so different a thing that the person's personality is suspected, that he or she is not well, or there is a problem with the whole persona of the person. So we should first of all take it easy. Like any part of the body, our mind can also be unhealthy. If we go by the definition that WHO gives, what is mental health? WHO defines mental health as a state of well-being when an individual recognizes his or her potential and can cope with the day-to-day small stresses and is capable of working productively and fruitfully to make good contribution to his or her community at large. So I think this WHO definition in itself speaks loud that we have to take or manage or look up to the mental well-being in a positive manner. It should not be taken up as a very, very offensive or something wrong that is happening with the person's personality. We can attach several symptoms. There are two ways to look up to the mental health. One is the symptom which is reflected. One part is it shows physical symptom. The other shows mental or emotional symptom. If we talk about the symptom which are related to physiology, we have seen some people when they are under stress, they are having cramps or butterflies in the stomach. Am I audible there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So when we say people are in stress or some kind of fearful, some thoughts are going in their mind. So what they do? They feel like there are butterflies, there are cramps in their stomach. They feel tired, they feel exhausted. At times they feel that they are breathless. Then their heartbeat may be increasing suddenly. So such kind of symptoms are there which are related to physical symptoms, we can say. Then they may have sweat, they may have a lack of sleep. Certain things are there which can clearly be visible with their eyes. They feel body ache, etc. If we switch over to emotional symptoms, how we find them? They may be distressed, they may be worried, they may be fearful, they may be tensed, etc. So we can judge, we can assess that the person is feeling unhealthy. What can be the, if we talk about when we should feel that yes, now the symptoms which we see, they actually need help of an expert. If we look around, when the person is fed up with the daily routine, what the person is doing means every day we have a good sound sleep, we wake up and we get ready happy and go for a day-to-day's tasks. It is fine with mental health. But when the person starts feeling excessively bored and do not enjoy the daily work, there is a change in the sleeping pattern of a person. Suddenly it goes very much delayed, or sleepless night starts on. There is a change in the attitude of the person and the concern about the family. May it be a junior level school going child, or a middle, or a teenager, or a senior child. When they are feeling, the symptoms are shown that they are now indifferent to the family. Suddenly their behavior changes. They are not talking much with their family members, friends, and all. The child is isolating himself or herself, and they are feeling low energy. So such kind of things or body aches are noted. So I think this is the time that one should engage with the professionals approach. One should go to the professional for the help. Yes.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you so much. So we come up with second question is how can students learn to build resilience against adversities? Like you said that there are certain circumstances happening at home, so we should understand how to behave and when to behave and how to behave. So how can you build it?
Uh, Child should be supported by the school. How child can learn? See, there are multiple aspects that the child's well-being, mental health is connected, and how we can nurture it. As a school, we can teach them certain skills where the child is learning how I can brave on the situation where his mental health is intact. He or she should be taught how can what can I control. Children are today surrounded with lot of expectations from the home, society, from the schools, all around, from every quarter of the world. So it is these days their life is not as cool as it used to be earlier, 10, 30, 40 years back. So they are under much pressure. At times, parents are also comparing them, relatives are also comparing. Their children are working so well, why not yours? They start comparing even their own siblings with their own siblings. The elder or the younger brother or sister is working so well, so why not your result is accordingly? Or the physical strength also can be compared. Each individual is unique. Once I learned that based on the hereditary from the parents, both mother and father, an individual is a unique combination of 1 is to 400 millions. So this is a rarity of each individual. So how can we expect the one person can be the Xerox of the other? It can never happen. Each one is unique. So we have to learn to respect it. In the school, children should be taught the skills, the values where they should be watchful for their own emotions. They should be able to understand how are they feeling, when are they feeling angry. If they're feeling angry, why? Are they suffering some kind of hurt, disgust, or the child is threatened somewhere, or the child is feeling frustrated? If the child is being embarrassed by a teacher or by the peer group, or the child is being provoked to be fightful or to be sad or gloomy, a kind of thing. When child faces all this, he feels anger. If the child is feeling fearful, why? What can be the reason behind it? Is a child is being rejected anywhere at home or school or in the peer group? Is a child feeling insecure? Is a child is anxious? Is a child scared or feeling humiliated or frightened or overwhelmed somewhere? So these are the symptoms when the child is feeling fear. When the child is peaceful, let me talk about the positive aspect also. When the child is feeling peaceful, what can be the conditions? Child is happy, feeling contented, child is feeling being loved, child is relaxed in his or her behavior, child is thankful to the people around when he or she gets something, is feeling that I must say thanks and having the sense of gratitude towards the people. Child is trusting the teachers, parents, grandparents, friends, sibling. Child is thoughtful. Child is sentimental about the things happening around. So these are the certain behaviors that child should be capable of recognizing. So With the day-to-day teaching, the child should be taught these skills to name their emotions. What is my emotion? How am I feeling? The child should be trained to be watchful, that how I can control my emotion, how I'm feeling now. So, first to name the emotion, the child should be able to find out what kind of emotion I'm having. You name it and then you can tame it. When the child is able to name, he or she can tame it. So we can child can learn to come out of their anxiety, their emotions once they know that how are they feeling. Positive social connection should be taught. They should have positive social connection with the peer group, with the family members, in the school, with the teachers as well. They should be given life skills and positive approach, how to overcome mental anxieties. They should be thinking something positive about them. It should not be like some children we have seen around, they have very low self esteem. So when they are thinking, I am not capable of doing this kind of athletics or in academics or co-curricular activities, so they keep on cursing themselves. So children should be trained to say something positive about themselves instead of feeling negative or low energy. So certain skills should be developed. They should be given a positive support in the school as well as at home. At home, children should be guarded by the parents, by the elder children if they have at home, by the relatives. If there is any change in the behavior, child should be monitored and given a support by the elders. Then children will learn at home as well as in school. Teachers should monitor how are they sitting. Is a child suddenly quiet? Is a child suddenly separating himself or herself from the group? So when teacher is attending them personally, they learn to speak up and break the shell of gloominess, and they come up with a positive response. They can have some good like daily routine, what they do. They can think, what am I doing right now? Taking a pause in between for a short while. Whatever you're doing, you keep on doing it for the whole day through the same routine. But once we teach the children how to take a break and breathe and think, be watchful what you are doing, why are you doing, are you happy or sad, what are your emotion at present. So this is how children learn to have a break in between. They can go for a water break, they can be simply sitting, stopping everything what they're doing and be watchful. Am I okay? Means we keep on talking to the people and asking, how are you? How are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you sad and all? But we never ask ourselves. So we should uh, train children and fortify this fact that they should also introspect. They should also look up to them. Am I right? Am I okay? How am I feeling? So they should ask about the well-being to own self.
Absolutely, ma'am. So the only thing that I could understand is expression is all, that is how you deal with your situation. So once you start expressing how you feel about a person, about a situation, and about life in totality, that's how life becomes easy, and mental health is yet another way of, an easier step towards or closer step to deal with.
Absolutely.
Bringing to another question is, ma'am, what all activities should schools undertake to promote social and emotional skills in children?
There is a variety of activities. Few we can because of the time constraint. We can. I would like to touch up a few from global to. Then I'll go into the details. A few of the activities I'll be discussing. Like we should, as once I said, we should tell the children to be watchful for their emotions, to recognize, to name it. What is this? Then first we are going to work on these issues through the teachers, right? Through the teachers, because they are the one who are the frontliner. They are dealing directly with the children. So what should teacher do? A teacher should build a positive rapport with the child. He or she should listen to the child. What are his or her feelings? give them positive feedback so that child should feel confident and should come up with the inside out. Then teacher should encourage them to express their emotion also. Some children are quiet, introvert. So what we do in our school, like I have told teachers that those who need help, they should adopt them. So every minute, spend 2 minutes only every day. Spend 2 minutes after the class gets over. Just say them hello, hi, give them a pat, and try to crack what is going inside the child's mind. So this is how they feel personal bondage with the teacher, and they try to open their mind, their heart. Teacher should be non-judgmental when he or she is asking a child about the well-being and notices something different. He or she should not be judgmental on their part. And once you listen to the child, you give them proper feedback, fair and just. It should not be lopsided. Teacher once come to know certain facts which the child does not speak to the others. Please ensure that you should be maintaining the confidentiality. It should not happen that you talk to the child very successfully. You take the child to the threshold where the child speaks something to you, something personal from family or from peer group. And then he or she is under threat that now the teacher will go into the staff room and speak all in front of the other colleagues. So the child should be very much sure that yes, what I'm sharing with my teacher, he or she is not going to share anywhere. It will be resting with the teacher, and he or she is going to deal with my problem with mature head and mature approach. So confidentiality has to be maintained. She should personally then identify the problem. What are the steps for the teachers? He or she should talk to the child, should identify the steps, give full layer to the child. It should not happen he or she is calling to the child also. The child is now opening mind and teacher is busy somewhere else. So teacher should give full layer, should listen to it, and then making a case study. He or she should write the goals. This is the level of the child at present. How I have to improve. What is my goal to achieve with this child? Then the child should be motivated to adopt a positive approach. By gradual talks, she or he should motivate the child. The child should be using positive approach in the life. School as a whole, management, principal, the whole staff together, what we can do for the child to promote the mental health. We should provide social and emotional skill at large so that children should learn to fight with the regular day-to-day life stress, not only today, but when the child is passed out after 5, 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40 years, and throughout the life, child should be capable of. Instead of giving a fish every day, one should be taught how to catch the fish for oneself. So it is using this approach. School teachers, everyone should prepare the children that they should be emotionally strong, that they are able to handle their own emotional outburst. They should give them, school should provide a timely support to the children when he or she is in need. School should involve the family also, family and relatives, to manage the children's mental illness. They should foster friendly and inclusive environment where everybody fits in well. They may be from different backgrounds and different economical backgrounds, social backgrounds, different caste, different social strata. So, school is a kind of a small miniature of the society where children are coming from different type of backgrounds. So, they should be given an inclusive environment in the school. Implementing school should implement a positive approach to behavior management also. They can work out together in collaboration with the children that how we can have policy, behavior policy. Children can be given a brainstorming where they themselves are framing policies for them, for their own classes and school. How should be in the playground? How should we behave in the classroom or outside in the corridor? Instead of we have an imposed kind of discipline, children should frame the rule on their own. And once they make the rules, they find it easy to follow because it is their own developed method of discipline. There should be policies addressing the well-being and inclusion in the schools, and
Yeah, ma'am.
children
So
should.
I just want to understand. So, which brings me to another question of yours is, I mean, you just answering it that way. So, I just want to understand, ma'am, whether what all we are talking about. Is it important to hire somebody who's, a health professional or for students for emotional well-being, or is it just this to teachers or a collaborative effort of the faculties to imbibe these things in students?
I think every teacher today, we can't say only one person can solve the entire school children's problem, because in such a scenario we are living in 21st century. Now the behavior aspect, everything is changing very fast. In this scenario, we can't afford with one counselor or one professional only in the school. Yes, definitely there has to be. We do also have a permanent counselor in our school. So there is a dire need that one must have a highly professional person in the school that should be hired. Other than this, every single teacher has to play a role of a counselor in today's scenario. So all teachers should be trained where they know the children's psychology. They are all BA teachers, so it is already taught to them how to understand the child psychology and what can be their problem. So all teachers should be trained. The very first thing is that they should be all trained so that to a greater level they can solve the problem within the classroom situation. Then there will be lesser cases. They are actually need to be taken to the professionals. So school can hire a professional, of course, who can on regular basis learn their cases in depth. What are their problems, can create a case history, complete case history, and that can also be helpful in the future life of the child. So school, I advocate that they must have a professional also for this purpose.
All right, ma'am. Absolutely, ma'am. Stating a lot about mental health. What I could understand it, it's coming from home only. So wherein it starts with comparisons. It starts with how this is doing that and how good that person is and how a sort of comparison that comes in and expression that is lacking. Right? Parents are busy. Everybody's working. You have nuclear families these days. So what I feel is it's the current trend, it's the current lifestyle of the entire society that brings mental health into this issue into limelight. So where I come from and where I can understand is people should talk, people should express, people should have the understanding of how to deal with the situation, how to share it with certain amount of people, and how to come up and manage the comparisons, the challenges that life is throwing you at, the social media, the criterias or the protocols that it's or the standards that it's creating, just or setting a bar to reach to a level wherein that is the only point wherein you can stand in society. So I think it is lot coming from right and left to all, wherein we can deal right at the root cause at the very time when we are studying and deal it with. So this should be, I guess, to some extent be a imbibed in the curriculum wherein students should have that activity or engaging process somehow to know each other as somebody who's around you. Would you like to conclude on something, ma'am?
A few activities, as I said, just a few. We might be running short of time, like a bucket of kindness. Like children, we can teach them certain values from the very beginning. So once the child is being nurtured through values, not only academically intelligent a child we have to produce. Finally, we are not going to create money minting machine in the society. We don't need that only. Because if it was so the story, then all rich people should have been very calm and happy. कहते हैं ना कि there is a bed, but you can't have sleep, because you need to feel content from within, and that can be done with the values only. So we can teach them certain good values, like if we have to teach them how to be kind to the others. A few things I can suggest, like compliment the first three people you talk to. Everyday teacher can tell them to compliment how you like. The child is sitting with the other child on the bench, tell them to write something good about how they feel, what are the good qualities that they are convinced with the other child sitting next to them. They can write a handwritten note to their teacher. They can say good morning to all the nannies, even those who come across while they are walking inside the corridor, they are entering the school. They can pick up litter and they can spend 10 minutes cleaning the park in the neighborhood. They can make thank you card for the parents. I think, of course, not many schools are doing all this. They can make a thank you card for the grandparents. They can send flower to the flower bouquet to the friends, and certain things which, like feeding the stray dog or the cows, can give them happiness. And other than that, another activity, like they should learn how to calm down themselves. So they can have 1, 2, 3 activity when they're feeling so much of full of fear and anxiety. They should be taught to sit quietly, calm down, take long breath, and then 3, 2, 1, and my anxiety is coming down. So this is how small things they can follow in the life, but they work really magically. One is they can be made sit into the circle and give them a role that now today you are a superhero when the children are not feeling that happy. So they should be given a card that you are this superhero, and feel yourself if you are that superhero. So what are the strengths, what are the different tasks that you can perform? Let the child write them down. So this will break their anxiety, their fear, their anger, and their gloominess. When they are imagining themselves through the power of imagination, they are given a character and they try to fit into that character. So this will bring about a lot of courage, confidence into them. Such small activities we can use always.
Absolutely, ma'am. So we could understand that there are three golden rules to life, that is sorry, thank you, and please, which could rule the world. And a little, small gestures of, making somebody feel special is all you need in life to, live a happy life. And with this note, I would like to sign it off with saying thank you so very much for having us here and giving this insightful session and telling and expressing how one can, deal with mental health just by being, happy, and just by accepting what is happening around the world with a open heart and a smile to your face. I, Sakshi, will be signing off with yet another insightful session.